Okay, so it seems to be working okay. Check my microphone. Yeah, seems to be working okay. So, I'm William, this is Wusik Station, and we're going to talk a bit about the options the Wusik Station has, and if anyone has any questions, I'm going to try to reply here and also showcase anything anyone asks. For now, I'm going to do a short tutorial on how to use Wusik Station and everything else. The first thing to mention is the interface of Wusik Station. You have the browser here on the right area and the rest of the plugin here on the left area with the top menu. Here at the bottom, this is not part of Wusik Station. This is the host I'm using. This is Save Host. I'm just using it to host the Wusik Station. And it also comes with the Wusik Station installer, so you can use as a standalone plugin. Most of the options you will find under the Wusik logo here on the left. Just click it to open. You can check which version you're using. I'm using a beta version. And you have other options like skin options, tooltip, oversample. Be sure it's off if you don't want to use a lot of CPU. Key shortcuts, idle timeout, screen refresh rate, and other options. Those are the global options for the plugin. And here on the top you have the layers, the master area at the bottom here, and you have the effects area, the synth effects, and the insert effect for the current layer. And also to have here on the top the layer settings that stays on for any layer, for any of the both options you choose. And you have the modulation matrix and MIDI options. So you have to understand how Wusik Station works. You have the MIDI options that goes first. Those are the options that will affect all the notes you play. You have the arpeggiator, modulation sequencer, aftertouch, MIDI control. You can use the MIDI control on the modulation matrix, the modulation envelopes, the LFOs. You can also use key switching for each layer. This way you can use, let's say, the bottom keys here to select which layer you're going to play. So it's a very handy option. And you also have the option for the sticky keys. This is just talking about pretty much everything that very quickly. I'm going to go explaining each sector one by one as I go. I'm just for now checking my settings on my stream program. Seems to be working. At least I don't have any dropped frames. Okay. So Wusik Station version 8. What do you have here? You have several layers you can pile up. There is a limited amount of layers. It's going to depend on the resource of your computer, but it can be a lot. You can easily add 12, 14 layers without a problem. And you have types of layers. Right now I have here some presets you can see. I have my initial preset is a empty preset with just the 3 oscillator layer loaded. So it's a 3 oscillator layer. and I can add or replace that layer. Let's say I want to add a wave sequencer layer. So empty for now. The translator is already going to play. And just let me put my headphones. As you can see, I'm using the amplitude envelope, and I have a loop from sustain point 1 to sustain point 2. And what happens is, since the sustain areas is actually a decay envelope, let's say that this way, because it has a value of 0 on sustain 2 and a value of 1 on sustain 1, and just adjust the velocity here. I don't know if you know about I think the name is Wasp synthesizer. It had that feature. Hornet, I think it was. Wasp, Hornet, something like that. It has that feature, but it was analog. But you could use the amplitude envelope to create rhythm sounds. But let me remove all the sustains. So just the key envelope. Okay, so now I have the 3 oscillators here, and I have the options for each oscillator. And on the top here, I have the high quality oversample mode. This is oversampling internally on the oscillator. If you go here on the menu, you're going to see the oversample. This is a global oversample. So if I select the oversample here, and I also select oversample here, we're going to do 2 times the oversample. So usually just this high quality button is enough. Let me increase time now. 1 second. As you can see, the wave sequencer is empty right now. So we're going to use the preset initiation, named wave sequencer, because it already has a few sounds loaded. So here's the wave sequencer. It has, see, 2 layers. Layer 1 and layer 2. You just click here on the right on the waveform and it's going to show you layer 1, layer 2. Okay, the wave sequencer. Let's open the wave sequencer and right click on any of the options. And there's a lot of options here, you can see. And you have 2 modes. You can see here on the bottom. Sequencer mode 1, no X fade. In sequencer mode 2, let's select X fade. What's that? That's a bit tricky. The sequencer mode 1, it's a new type of sequencing. It's more like a MIDI sequencer for each note. So what happens is that each note you press is going to generate this 2-note sequencer here. You can hit 2-step, 2-note step. Then each note is going to have the values you selected here. So we're going to select layer 1 and then select layer 2. And what happens is that it's going to trigger the note using the amplitude envelope. And as soon as the second step reaches, it's going to trigger the second step and do a note off for the first step. So it's going to use all the amplitude envelope. So let's say Let's remove all. We put a very long 3 seconds here. You can see that it's more like a polyphonic arpeggiator in some ways. Now, when I go to the mode 2, that's the original mode for the Wusik Station prior versions. The mode 2, it has an X-fade option from one step to another. So let's see here. I right click it and I select show X-fade. Now when I play, it's going to generate one voice, and this voice internally is going to ping pong one step and another step, one step and another step, and fade from one to another using the X fade option here. So I'm going to put a slightly more longer step sequence. You can see, let me add sustain point here, otherwise you can't see. New node, sustain points 1 and 2. So it's going to sustain here and then decay. Okay. Now you can hear that it's just one voice, and the steps are just ping pong from one step to another. And then when I release the node, it continues doing that until all the decay is done. So just a quick example of how the two modes of the wave sequencer works. Let me see, let me duplicate this. Duplicate steps. Now I have the steps. I'm going to add different tunings. Can use shift 7 and then 12. The shift holding is easier to edit. I'm going to put a bit faster here. And as you can hear, it's doing the X fade. Now I'm going to remove the X fade a bit. Now let's put on mode 1 instead. Let's put mode 2 again. So that's pretty much how the wave sequencer works. I'm going to show another tricks. One thing I'm going to talk about also is the audio looper. The audio looper is a bit tricky to use because you need a sequencer that allows you to insert this plugin as an effect and also send MIDI notes to it. I'm going to do a video about this on my other machine. I can't do on this machine. So I'm not going to talk very much about it now, but what it does, it chops the audio into a buffer. The size of the buffer, I think we don't have it here. Let's check. We have the rate. On Wusik 8000 you have the option to change the audio buffer size. Yeah, but not on Wusik Station. But you can change the audio input rate, and it's going to this buffer, and you play the buffer just like a sampler, so to speak. Okay, I'm going to start another video soon, so you can follow on the next video.